The coast around Petrovac in Montenegro is a popular tourist destination. But there are reminders that war once came here. In 1941, Britain wanted to take the fight to mainland Europe and heard about some resistance in Yugoslavia. The first attempt to find out more was sent by SOE, the Special Operations Executive. Its team leader, Captain Hudson, travelled inland and soon discovered that there were two resistance groups. The Chetniks, who wanted to restore the monarchy, and the Partisans, led by the Communist Party. He soon lost radio contact with SOE and spent the winter months surviving on the goodwill of local people. To learn more and locate Hudson, another team was sent. Arriving in the Royal Navy submarine HMS Thorn, 3 men landed at this remote bay a few miles from Petrovac. It was called Operation Hydra and led by Captain Atherton, who'd previously worked as a journalist in Yugoslavia. With him were a Yugoslav Air Force officer and a British radio operator, whilst a 4th member, who was thought to be suspect, was left behind on the submarine. Atherton was soon in contact with a local partisan group led by Jovan Tomasevich. Local commanders were so suspicious of these arrivals that one of them thought of executing them. But their leader, Joseph Tito, saw the benefit of meeting. When Atherton arrived at the partisan headquarters, the partisans made sure that he saw how they were taking the fight to the enemy. And they also told him about Chetnik collaboration with the occupiers. As he was never able to make radio contact, SOE did not find out what Atherton had made of this complicated conflict, where the resistance groups sometimes fought each other. Atherton did want to visit the Chetniks, and in mid-April he managed to leave the partisans, aided by a Chetnik officer who was there at the time. A few days later, he wrote to the Chetnik leader, but that was the last that was heard of Atherton. He and his radio operator disappeared, never to be heard of again. Hudson survived and rejoined the Chetnik group, and he tried to discover what happened to Atherton. One possibility is that he was murdered for the gold he carried, but the truth has never been established. These early military missions were dangerous and difficult, and they ended up adding to the suspicion that both resistance groups had about British intentions. Later, more missions would arrive by air, but they never succeeded in uniting the two groups and their very different objectives. Eventually, Britain would come down on the side of the partisans, and with the weapons supplied by SOE, they emerged as the wartime victor, able to create the communist system of post-war Yugoslavia. For Petrovac, this was not new. Years before British soldiers arrived on this coast, the town elected the first communist municipality in the region. Post-war Yugoslav development included tourism. a holiday complex was built here, and later a hotel. This stands as a legacy of what went wrong, with its original opening cancelled because of corruption. The hotel remained closed for years, but in 2001, with Yugoslavia already broken up, it was privatised, along with valuable coastal land. The new private owner had ambitious plans, including not just swimming pools but heliports. But this work was not completed, as required within 2 years, and even after several extensions, there was little progress. Court action continues in what has been called one of the biggest failures of privatisation in Montenegro. This structure still disfigures this scenic coast, where many years before, men like Captain Atherton tried to help an occupied nation win its freedom.